Today I'm going to talk a little bit about my 3D printable screwdriver. So this features a 7-bit holder in the back of it, and it is held in by magnets. It's very easy to pull bits out. You just pull them out, put them back in. Very easy. And it stores right in here, and this spins, which is perfect for driving. I have two versions of the head here, one that is press fit and one that is not. This is a press fit one. There's no pulling out. I believe this one is a loose fit, so it can utilize the magnet in there. The reason I chose press fit for mine is because I do not like it when I have a bit in here and I pull this out and sometimes it pulls that out too. So I have this other version here. It's a short one, which is designed to hold the smaller bits. And the reason I kind of like the press fit is because you can't into a situation where you put one of these in here and it just gets lost in there. You'd have to unscrew inside. And that's why I have the short head on here. So it goes in there just like that. Everything's the same with the short version. It's just the length of this, which is shorter. This is 25 millimeter for 25 millimeter bits. This one is for the 50 millimeter. And I do have versions for 75 millimeter. It's not very common, but they do exist. And then I have 100 millimeter for these longer ones. The backs are also customizable. I have a flat, hex, and I have pentalobe and Torx and Phillips. And then I just have the generic Geiger Tech logo, just in case you may, have a mix of different bits. You don't want to have one of these, so there's a generic one available here. I tested printing the handle here in PLA and in PETG and TPU 95A. I also tried TPU 64D. I tried with this, but it's really close to being good enough, but there's still just a little bit too much flex here. And with this one, you're not getting any flex. The reason PLA and PETG didn't work very well is because of the spinning of this. The TPU 68D, when the way they rub on each other, is just very, very smooth. Even with the 64D, it just didn't spin as good. I don't know if you can hear that. It still spins okay. So if you have 64D, it'll work. It's just got a little bit more flex to it. But the TPU for AMS, the 68D, is just the best. It slides very nicely. All right, now let's go over the hardware you'll need to complete this build. You'll need one 8x3 circular magnet, preferably N52 neodymium magnets, and you'll also need 14 5x2 magnets. You'll need 3 screws, roughly 10 or 12 millimeters in length, and then one more screw, 8 millimeters. And then as for your bits, you can pick any 7 bits you want, but I'll be doing the hex version. And for the 3D printed parts, here is the handle. And I have a pause on the print. It allows me to put the magnet in there. So it gives me a nice, perfectly flat surface right here. And that magnet there is mostly for if you decide to have a smaller head, or you get the non-press fit so they can slide in here and lock in place. I also have a version without the magnet. If you know for sure that you're going to use the press fit version, you don't need that magnet in there, and it gives it a little bit more strength. So I print this in TPU 64D. The only place that I could find that is Bamboo's TPU for AMS. The head here, this is printed in PLA Plus, and I print that at 100% infill. The base here is also printed in TPU 68D, which allows it to spin very nicely. This part is just regular TPU 95A. And then these two parts are just PLA Plus. And lastly, the bit driver has a little magnet in there. So this is everything you need to build this screwdriver. So we're just going to go ahead and get started building it. The first thing you'll have to do is press this into there. So let's go ahead and do that. To press fit this in there, you just have to have a vise that can open big enough. 850 millimeters, 8.5 centimeters. And press it in. Press it all the way in until it bottoms out. All the way. There we go. And it's completely flush here. When pressing the magnets into this plate here, it is very difficult. It is possible. It's how I used to do it, is on a vise or a press. You just put it over the hole and press and hope it goes in. But I've ruined quite a few of these trying to press it in with a little off, and I just got sick of it. And it was very difficult, especially when you get the magnets in there and then you're trying to put one in here. It really wants to pull it off, and it's just really bad. So I made this jig here, which allows you to push them all in at once. So you take your plate here, and there's two little nubs here. It lines it up like that, and then this can go in there like that. This is made of TPU, regular 95A. That way you can press the magnets into here really easily, and then press them down into there in a vise. Let's go ahead and do that. I always like to have a little more magnets to make the pressing easy. It is kind of difficult sometimes because of how strong and that it wants to stick over there. There we go. You just place this in here, place this on top of it, and go to a vise. Here, there. Put this on top of there, and just slide it into the vise, and give it a couple cranks. That's all it needs. I left this hole here so you can pull that up. Okay, so the next thing we have to do is just put these 3 screws in there. Push the screw up kind of like that, get it in there. Put this on there. You're good to go. And you can really tell when it's tight because it becomes very resistant. But don't torque it too tight because it will strip. There. Now that's attached. Now let's move on to this part. So first thing you do is just attach, maybe get it started in there. Just pop that right in the middle there, and okay, there we go. Now the spacer goes in there because that head is sticking up, so we give it a nice flat surface, and then this goes on top of that. Sometimes it's kind of difficult to get it in there. Just use a tool, push it down, and there it is. Now there's a little bit of a trick. Usually when you put them in there, it gets the outside and you still have two left. I like to put the biggest one in the center. You push that in there, and then that leaves one spot on the side. Now, very first time you're putting these together, this hasn't quite stretched out, so sometimes it's difficult. If you put it in there like that and bend it like that, it goes in. And then once it's been in there for a little while, it kind of loosens up a little bit, and it's a lot easier to get them in and out. And that goes in there like that, and we're all set to go. So I've got a pretty big piece of wood here, so I'm just going to run this screw in with this screwdriver, and we'll see how it works. Okay. Getting very difficult. So the screwdriver had absolutely no issues at all. It's definitely not the screwdriver which is the weakest link. So let's try and bring this back out. It's a pretty good demonstration on how strong this really is. I'm offering this for free to download on Maker World. I'm also selling the complete set on Etsy. If you want to visit my Etsy store, the link will be in the description. Just search for Geiger Tech in Etsy, and you can buy this screwdriver with the bits. So thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.